Hey Dunchbags, what's going on? It's Landon Remixes here, and it's time for a review of this new album, this new collaborative album from Leopold and Sakuraburst called VENNER. And I've got Sakuraburst, Bobby Stevenson himself here with me to talk about this album. And this is really exciting because some of you guys who have been subscribed to me for a long time might remember that Deconstructing Nature, which was Bobby's last full-length studio album, was one of my top 10 albums of 2015, and I really enjoyed that album. I still enjoy it a lot, and I thought that album was very groundbreaking and I guess ahead of its time, considering a lot of the music that's come out this year and a lot of trends that are going on were like things that you were doing back in 2015, so I think that's really cool. But initially I didn't really know what to expect going into this album. I just knew that you had a collaborative album with Leopold coming out, who I didn't actually realize was the same Leopold that did the Osaka Night remix that was on the CD. I've got the Deconstructing Nature CD right
I haven't
here.
seen one of those in years.
I didn't even realize until yesterday that was the same Leopold that did
he
that
switched
remix.
aliases a couple of times. He was... I can't remember. He's had a few different aliases since then, and then he went back to Leopold.
But one big thing that I wanted to ask is how did this album come together? How did you guys sit down and decide you were going to make a full-length album project?
Just kind of jokingly, I think, because we've been friends for years and years and years. He's one of my oldest internet friends, and I think the conversation was just, hey, do you want to make an album? Sure, let's do it. Because I can't remember what the first thing we worked on together was, but I think we were both just in the point where we wanted to make an album, and we decided it would be easier to do it together.
Okay.
So we just decided to see how our styles would fit together and just throw ideas at each other. Because the original thing we suggested was just to make pretty much a song a day and then just work on the best ones. So we were just throwing ideas back and forth at each other.
I think it's interesting how it came together, because there's a lot of elements on this album that feel like they shouldn't work together, but ultimately do. I think that's kind of intentional here. But I wanted to know, first of all, what are the different elements you guys put in? Because as far as I know, neither of you sing in your music, and there's a vocalist that spans across this entire album. Is that you or him?
That's me. And then he's in 2 songs. I'm the one in most of the songs. He's in The End of Hope, and he's in Michicloud.
Since I didn't put together that Leopold was a producer and not a singer, I was just thinking you were the producer on this whole thing, and then he was the singer. And then I looked
Neither of us are singers.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I looked at his SoundCloud yesterday, and it was just all kind of ambient chill out stuff. I was hold on a second, and no vocals. So then I kind of put it together that maybe you were the singer on this too. But yeah, this is a really cool album, honestly.
Thank you.
Just being straight up, it's one of my favorite albums of the year so far, probably one of my favorite 3. And I think a big part of that is because there's so many different elements and things going into this. I think one of the tracks that kind of captures that the best is the intro track, Fireplace, which has the soft acoustic guitar, it's got the singing, and then I think it's got a little bit of a dance break, and then it's a metal break that happens at the end, and it's just holy moly, my ears are just getting attacked from every which way, but in the best way possible. I also wanted to note that this song, though it's the intro, it might actually be my favorite song on the album, though I do basically every song on this album. I just how immersive it is. When you hear those little, is that a lute, a Japanese lute? That's the little
banjo
strings
thing
that are playing. Oh, it's a banjo. Okay.
It's do you know Bon Iver?
Yeah.
Yeah, it stems from one of his songs, a banjo, that I put through a lot of different effects to make it sound just really swirly and everything.
Yeah, it's super surrounding and immersive. Ferris Wheel is another one, I guess I'll just go through this track by track, I guess, but another one of those songs where it feels the elements shouldn't really go together comfortably, but they somehow work. It's got the acoustic guitar in the intro, and then it's got kind of the synth wavy production that kind of happens with the vocals.
Very Carly Rae Jepsen inspired.
Yeah. Definitely. It's that's another thing about this album is, I don't know, I was looking through both of your Twitters yesterday kind of in preparation for this, and it was I remembered you had said something about this is the most, some of the most experimental music we've ever worked on, and also some of the most poppy. And I think that's like an interesting way to word it, because like especially with this song, this is kind of an interesting way to wrap it up, is that there's just so many different things going on, but at the same time it's like a pop project. And I think
I was gonna say, like, just making pop music is a kind of experimental for Sakuraburst. That's kind of what I thought would throw people the most, just the fact that I wasn't making really like complex stuff, and instead just like trying to focus on really like small melodies and stuff that could flesh out a song. But I think people are used to hearing like 1,001 things happening at once from me, so trying to dial that back was like pretty much the hardest thing to learn on this album.
Well, I mean, it's like a pop project, but there's also some like really experimental sound things going on. Like I said, there's just a lot of different genres and kind of things happening at once. Ferris Wheel is a song that I really enjoy a lot. I like the way things transition into each other. It kind of has like a dark vibe, and then the hook is more, I don't know, a little bit more candy sweet kind of. Yeah. I'm not sure how I felt entirely about that decision, though it is one of my favorite songs. The hook is a little bit too sugary for me. Regardless, I thought it was a fantastic song, and there's lots else going on there.
Thank you.
Introvert, that was another interesting song for me, and like some of my favorite like collections of lyrics. I'm not personally introverted, like I like being around people and everything, so it's always interesting hearing people talk about like their anxiety and everything. And like there was a lyric about like being in a crowd and feeling like you're in a cell or something. Yeah. I really enjoyed that, because I don't know, like I said, I'm not introverted, so I don't really get that, but it's interesting coming from like an alternate perspective and hearing like how that can bring so much anxiety and everything. So that was a really enjoyable song. Before we get in further, like, what were some of your favorite moments on this album for yourself?
My favorite songs tend to be the ones where my vocals are like really pitched up, because I find it honestly like kind of hard to listen to my vocals when they're not like super processed. So Introvert and Senseless are probably Introvert, Senseless, and Michicloud are my favorite songs on the album, I think. I'm a really big fan of the songs that Leopold had like a heavy hand in as well. Quite a few of the songs of the album are like just me, and then a few of the songs are like half and half, but a lot of the songs are just he'll send like 4 bars of music, and then like Ferris Wheel, for example, he sent the intro guitar thing, and then I just turned that into the whole song, and that was similar to Trash Angel as well.
Another thing I
really like the parts that aren't me, basically.
One thing I wanted to ask is like, who are some big musical inspirations on this project? Because really I couldn't connect it to anything. Like on, I think Trash Angel, I could definitely hear maybe some Eden influence a little bit, like in the... No, not at all?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, really? Okay. Well.
Yeah, kind of each song has its own influence in a way. Like, I've mentioned Bon Iver and Carly Rae Jepsen, and they were 2 big influences. It's kind of different influences for different things. Like, vocal processing was obviously a big thing in the album, so influences for that were Kanye, Charlie XCX, Brockhampton, people who like alter their voice a whole bunch. Bon Iver flows into that as well. Instrumentally, each song is kind of different. Like obviously Harmonic is more of a trap song, so that was kind of influenced by guys like Post Malone. And then Trash Angel was Bon Iver, Kanye, that kind of thing. Then Introvert is more hip-hoppy, so Tyler, the Creator. I actually wrote the guitar part when I was playing along to an A$AP Ferg song, just on guitar and making random stuff up, and then turned that into a full song.
Wow.
So it's honestly just, I wouldn't say there's too many electronic influences on the album, apart from maybe when artists like Bon Iver or Kanye do electronic things. That was probably the biggest electronic influence, but mostly it was pop and hip-hop artists, as well as occasional like folk music and game soundtrack stuff.
That's really cool. You might like Eden. He does like alt R&B.
Oh, Eden. I thought you said Began.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know Eden. I'm not really particular. I haven't listened to much of his music, but I do like appreciate what I've heard.
You might like his newest album. I think you got some similar things going on in a lot of places. So I don't know, if you enjoy your own music, you might enjoy his newest album. But I don't know. Senseless, like you said with the vocal processing, I really like how the vocals are kind of layered on that track. Like you've got the lower pitch and the higher pitch kind of working together. I think that's cool. And did LPF do production or like vocals on this, or?
LPF is our friend, and he basically... I didn't actually... Okay, so it turns out he had done the electric piano part at the start. He basically done the bass chords of the song. And I didn't realize that. I just thought it was something Leopold had made and sent to me. But it turns out our friend had sent it to Leopold, who had then sent it to me, but I didn't know LPF was involved in it until like we'd nearly finished it.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that's just a little thing he made on SoundCloud like a couple of months before VENNER, just the e-piano thing. But Leopold took what he did and made it into a slightly more fleshed out thing, and then I took what Leopold did, then made that into a slightly more fleshed out. Yeah. And then LPF sent more stems of that song to me at the end of the process as well. So
especially with artists like Eden and like James Blake and Bon Iver, something that I really like is having those like electronic influences mixed in with like the singer-songwriter and R&B kind of stuff. But I do enjoy like the softer, more ballad-like moments. Like, is it pronounced Michicloud?
Michicloud is how I pronounce it.
Okay. Honestly, one of my favorite moments in the album because it's just like the soft acoustic guitar playing. I'm sure that was Leopold's.
Michicloud was mostly Leopold's thing, and then I did the last minute or so. Yeah, that is probably my favorite song on the album.
I really enjoyed the vocals on that too. Just like, I don't know, it's very ballad like, and I guess that's what I enjoy about it. Harmonic was an interesting track for me. Like you said, it's a little bit of more hip-hop influenced. I thought it was interesting, once again, all these elements kind of crossing. It feels like a rap. It's like a sung rap, sort of, and then, like you said...
Again, like vocals were very Post Malone.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting how the verses are a little bit darker, and then, like, the instrumental, I guess, is kind of bright and happy. I thought it was interesting how those kind of clashed in an interesting way. Once again, kind of similarly with Ferris Wheel, I thought the chorus, or the hook, I guess, was a little candy sweet, and I'm not super into it, but it doesn't take away from all the things that I think are great about the song. Oh, I also wanted to note about, I think it was Introvert. It's got, like, that little spot at the end. I think it's got a key change, and I really enjoyed that key change and how the vocals kind of worked with that. And there's another song, is it Senseless, I think, that has, like, a little bit of a jazz break at the end?
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of, sort of. And I really enjoyed that, too, and that while I don't think the rest of the song necessarily sets itself apart from everything, I think that little end segment makes it like a very unique moment on the album for me. Everything was a pretty cool track as well. It's probably, I'd say it's the most like R&B influenced
yeah,
on the
it
entire
was
album.
I think that was basically just me ripping off Brockhampton, like the last song on that album kind of thing, like the Bareface songs, but trying to make it like a lot more electronic. And then it turned into, that was the chords at least, and then it turned into something else eventually with the like distorted stuff at the end, and then the vocal, like the arpeggios and stuff in the middle. But yeah, that was started off as me trying to make a song in that vein. And
then I guess, I don't know, as we're moving in toward the end of the album here, we've got Another World, which is one of the most like hectic and crazy songs in the entire album. It's almost like, I don't know, I feel like when I'm listening to this song, I'm basically listening to like 3 different songs in one, because it's kind of split up like that. That
was just me trying to basically put as many different ideas into one song as possible. Just kind of, you know, like Cherry Blossoms off my last album. I just wanted to have something like that again, where it's just like a big long song full of like completely different ideas and like changes throughout the whole thing.
Cherry Blossoms, was that the one that was sampled on the Itjima remix, or?
Yeah, the one that keeps on getting copyright strikes.
I forgot to mention that at the beginning of this video as well, is Bobby has worked with Josh Pan on that Itjima remix, did some of the production on that, or some of your songs from, or was it just Cherry Blossoms that was sampled on that song? Yeah,
it was Cherry Blossoms that was sampled, and I made like a VIP version of it just for that song. And also I basically mixed the whole thing and connected, I made all the transition sections.
That's super cool. There's not much else I really wanted to say about the album other than I really love how you guys were able to work together on this, and all the ideas seem so fluidly working together. Really, I guess the one major premise that runs across the entire album that I think something that could have made this album a little bit more of an immersive experience is if the transitions from track to track were just a little bit smoother, because sometimes you get like a really heavy spot at the end, and then at the next song it's just like the acoustic guitar at the beginning. It's kind of soft. Other than that, I think like this album is just fantastic. Like, I've been listening to it like on repeat for the last couple months, and I just really enjoy it. And even regardless of like how much I enjoyed this one, Deconstructing Nature, you know, I think this one might even be a step above that, and I'm really excited for like,
oh, thank you very much,
whatever project comes next, because I don't know, I feel like the further you go on in your music, the more like experimental, and like especially with this album, you're going farther in the pop direction, but that's also pulling you farther in the experimental direction, which is, I don't know, it kind of boils down to my philosophy and how people should make music. It should be something that is groundbreaking, but at the same time that people are able to kind of catch their ear to, and be able to enjoy just kind of right off the bat, which I think this album did a really great job of doing.
Thank you. It was definitely like a step outside of my comfort zone.
For sure.
But I really agree that like the best music is the mix between groundbreaking and familiarity, because all my favorite music's like that as well.
For sure. For VENNER, I am probably feeling like a strong 8.5 to a light 9 out of 10. Yeah, really enjoying this one, and really hope you guys go and check this album out for yourselves, because as I said, one of my favorites of the year so far, and yeah, you guys both did a great job on this, and I'm really enjoying it. So
thank you so much.
Thank you to Bobby Stevenson for joining me for this video. Make sure to give him a sub. He's got a cool YouTube channel where he does music production tutorials and all that, and he's got some 6 sample packs as well that I use for my own productions. And super thanks for coming to feature on this video, because it's always cool to get some insight into albums that I really enjoy. Anyway.
No worries, thank you.
Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you next time. Peace.